Welcome to Celebrating Everyday People, where we recognize those amazing people doing amazing work out there. My name is Yana Larson. Today, my co-host is Brigitte Ben Ely of our arts segment, which we do once a month. You can find us on Celebrating Everyday People on our page on Facebook and on Buzzsprout and beyond as we enhance our online presence. Brigitte, over to you.
Thank you so much, Diana. So today's episode, we will travel across borders and memories through the life of an artist whose work transforms displacement into a language of survival, identity, and imagination. Our guest, artist, and activist is Aksanti Bafunyenpaka Bienfait, and please correct me if I don't pronounce your name correct. He's also the founder of the Just Paint Initiative and the broader platform Olame Humanity. Born in the Democratic Republic of Congo, displaced by conflict, raised through the realities of refugee life, and now creating powerful contemporary artworks in Uganda, Aksanti has turned a paintbrush into both a personal lifeline and a tool for community healing. So welcome, Aksanti. Welcome to our program today. I'm very excited to have you here, and I hope we can give a tour de force of your work and as an artist and as an activist.
Yeah, thank you so much for hosting me. It's a pleasure. And as mentioned, I'm Aksanti. I'm Aksanti Bafunyenpaka Bienfait. I'm a Congolese artist based in Uganda as a refugee since 2016.
So your name alone already carries profound weight, right? Like gratitude, history, and meaning. So how do your roots influence, your life as an artist and activist today? You can just give us a little bit about that, how you grew up and, your story, and then we continue from there to your work.
So the way I started art, so I was actually it's kind of a dream I had, kind of a passion, sketching from here, from there, but I couldn't know actually what I'm having if I'm holding a gift. And then when finding myself now in the camp, in the refugee camp, it's when I got that time to understand more about myself and also to embrace art, because at that time I was still young, so I couldn't know actually what I want. But during that time, that period of doing nothing in the camp, the time of isolation and the time when you feel like you lost everything, is the time when I said maybe I should embrace this to be my voice, where I can do something and people feel like we're having someone important in the community. I wanted to use the tool of art to bring change in the community and also encourage people who are passing through different challenges, especially refugees and displaced people and migrants.
I know that you have, I think I read that you're self-taught, but it's still interesting how you got to art and again, you can also talk about what art actually, how you got there and what art means to you. I can fully understand coming from, as you said, you were very young, 2016, you're only 23 now, and there's a lot you carry with you, and so is there someone who guided you, or you just discovered it and started painting and experimenting with different materials? How was that for you?
Yeah, well, I was before embracing art, I was in the academic school where I was learning. Yeah, I was learning, and then after that, because it's no the system, the education that we've been getting in the camp was totally different. It's like a kind of an accelerated, And then it was really challenging to know what I really want. And then after that, I think now it was in COVID-19. It's when during the lockdown, it's when now I embraced art and started sketching now in the camp. And then it was really challenging actually to find the voice, or maybe to combine the subjects with the technique that I'm having. And through that, it was because I didn't wanna do realistic work, because I know life is not real, and everything we see around us is something which is an illusion. And then I wanted just to put something outside, which is inside me, to show it to the world. And then I wanted to use abstract and figurative form, something like that, because I believe when I create something like that, which comes from the soul, it's not about the beauty, it's not about the appearance, but it's about the connection I'm having with my paintings. And I believed like when I create something coming from the soul, it will connect with other people, and rather than seeing the beauty. Yeah, because I know the beauty is hidden in the soul. And me working on such subjects, it's something of expressing what is inside me, and also for the well-being maybe of my mental health. Because I know we're holding a bad vocabulary called the refugee. No one can accept to be called a refugee. And then it's something which traumatized people, traumatized generations. And
Mm.
then I just wanted to now to express it through my paintings in a way of healing myself.
Your paintings are very, very strong. And obviously, you carry the story with you, and it's obvious that you carry, that it's amazing to have art as a tool to express your emotions where words are most likely not enough. And I think we can feel this emotion, and I think it's very impressive. So in terms of your art, so you use very vibrant colors, you use different textiles, like mixed media, you have a mixed media approach. Even though, we hope we can post this sometime, in our website eventually, but maybe you can talk a little about of your approach to art, the different colors, we know there are emotions behind, and it's very personal. Maybe you can talk a little bit about again, colors, the different materials you use, and the meaning of that. What does it represent, and what does it carry? What does it mean in your life, or what we see in your art?
My paintings carries a deep meaning, which sometimes even I myself as an artist, it becomes challenging to understand the paintings,
So
because
it's
sometimes,
pure from emotion. You paint from
yeah,
emotion, so you
from
think about.
emotion and yeah, from emotion, and it's kind of random, and I'm driven by emotions
Mm,
and by emotions, yeah, which I don't need to follow the technique sometimes, and I don't have actually the starting point and neither the end. It's
mm.
just whenever I feel, let me start from here, it's just from there, and through my brush strokes, I just apply subconsciously.
It's pure emotion.
Yeah, pure emotions.
Mm.
And it's like I'm developing something between I'm developing the fragile space between life and death,
Does it
because
feel like catharsis that you do that? That you become, obviously, a lot of art is emotional, but again, we feel the intensity in your artwork and in your colors. And again, I'm sure there's also more meaning behind, using burnt fabric. And so there's also, it's not on emotions, you're also telling, you
Mhm.
still at the same time, probably coming from a place of thought and beyond emotions, you're also telling a story, right? So, does it feel like catharsis? Does it really help you to process what you experienced?
Yeah, when I create or when I release a piece, I feel like I'm at peace. I feel
Mm.
like something has come outside. And then the way I said I'm exploring the fragile space between life and death, like I'm trying to explore now everything, my daily life, and also connecting the past, the
Mm.
present, and the future on the canvas. They say we can't predict the future, but through my paintings, I can predict the future. Because when you see yourself in the present, you can predict the future. And
That's
through
an
now,
interesting. That's very interesting that you say that. I'm trying. Can you expand a little bit more on this of what you mean? I understand what you mean, and I know
mm,
you're also very interested in Afro. That you're very focused also on Afrofuturism, and we'll get to that in a second. I'm not sure if you're referring to that in this context now. It's an interesting timeline, the past, the present, and the future, that you
yeah.
combine all of that. It's absolutely fascinating. Um, so
So
go
I
ahead.
can say like when I put in connecting the past, the present, and the future, I'm trying to then I create a piece. It's like I'm trying to create something new to come to life, and through creating that something new, it's something which is coming from subconsciousness. because we believe like we are more delusional. We are living. We see everything around us in illusion. So we don't really know this is the real one, this is the fake one. So we just believe. And then when creating a piece, connecting present, past, and the future, it's something of inventing also something new, which maybe will impact generations, or maybe after some years, some quite good years, people will feel that density of the paintings and the deep message that the deep message they hold, something like that. And also like I don't want to go far from the reality that I'm living. Yeah, that's why I do use different materials that I got from the immigrant communities and also refugees communities and displaced people, because I believe like those they leave something like a mark which is really hard for someone to forget, because you can't forget your past. What pains you, it's really hard to forget it. It's like you can forgive someone, but it's really hard for you to forget what happened. It's something like that. And then when I'm using those things, those materials coming from the migrant communities, I'm trying to connect to the reality people pass through, and also where they are going. Because sometimes we wear you can wear a cloth and then we you can wear a clothes, and then after throwing it, maybe when it gets hot, we forget that it has an impact. Maybe it helps us some quite good time there. And then me using them, I'm trying to put that the story to come to life, and also someone to be more connected with my paintings. And also the the figures that I use, like they are coming also from subconsciousness, because they are not realistic, because I don't believe life is real. Yeah, I don't believe life is real. And then I have to also to create something new, which no one ever seen. Though they say like no, nothing. Maybe you can't again create everything has already existed, but I can also try to imagine something which is inside me rather than copying
Absolutely.
the.
But is this something you like to envision, or I mean, or is it just subconsciousness? You are, I mean, the thing is, your art has so many dimensions. It's, your history, your personal story, as you just said, it's your subconsciousness, it's your general emotions. It's something you envision for the future. It's, I mean, when I saw your work, I was like, I was so impressed. You can feel and sense. And you see, even I am, a loss of words here, because what you express to your art is really hard. I mean, I have to think about it, but it's really hard to put in words, because there's so many different dimensions. And your past becomes like visible and almost tangible, because you use these mixed media. And so it's your art is really a testimony of your life, obviously. And but in terms of, since you mentioned you also envision the future, maybe you can, for our listeners, you can also explain or go a little bit more into the, what Afrofuturism means, because I'm not sure that everyone knows about that, and what that actually means, and how that is reflected in your art.
Yeah, well, like when I create a piece, it's not just a piece that I'm creating, but
Mm,
also it's a story. It's a story which it will be really hard to fade away.
mm,
And then when I say like I'm envisioning the future, it's something like I'm trying to invest in the story, and also maybe the next generations might see the painting, and they feel like maybe this is the moment that we are living in. This is the moment that we are passing through. And then
mm.
it's really hard to predict the future, but we can imagine what the future can be. Yeah.
I agree. And it's not only, and it's true. And you know what? I think it's also important for many, that we don't get locked into the past, which, is might be full of, which can, and it's case, and it's full of suffering and trauma. And so it's important for our own self, or whoever experienced this, to be able to not forget, but still to be able to move past that. And as you just said, envision something different for the future. I agree with you. It's an amazing that you can create this future in your artwork too, as well, that you bring this in your art as well. It's just really incredible. And I think you also emphasize this, despite the mixed media, that it's more about that the human connection is more important, that what matters, empathy matters. So I know you created, and I don't know how much time we have left now. I didn't pay attention, unfortunately. You created a community-driven initiative called Just Paint. And so maybe you can talk about this as well, because I think it's very important that our listeners get to know you also as an activist, and which is obviously connected to your art. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
So about the Just Paint, it's a project which is under Last Change, which I think earlier you visited my profile and you saw Olame Humanity.
Yeah.
But we've been in the process of putting some changes on the name according to the potential that we are bringing to people in the community, and then we just changed it to Last Change, because we believe there are some little details in the community that we don't really see, and we ignore sometimes, because that's the human nature to ignore some stuffs. But we invest in the stories, and also we invest maybe because our time here is not for nothing, but there's a reason why we're still existing. And the last chance is now the time for you to embrace maybe another current, also to embrace your journey, to do what you can do at the right time. And then Just Pence is under Last Chance, which we created it in the way of putting the community together, something of giving back to the community, because we believe not everyone can be an artist, but everyone can like to express themselves through paintings. And then for us, creating a Just Paint, it was the way of giving people that space where they can express themselves through paintings, and also through different activities that supports mental health in the community, especially in the refugee camp. Because we have women who are traumatized, we have children, they don't have direction of their life, neither parents don't give them. And then for us, creating that space, the way of connecting, putting those people together despite of different nationalities, to come together to celebrate the culture, and also to tell stories through paintings.
And I agree. And language is the art here that unites, So it's not only the idea of working through personal experience. And I'm not sure if you're mostly working with children, correct? You're mostly working with children?
Yeah, I work with
and they
children.
Do they share
And
your
women.
story?
Sorry?
Do they share similar stories? They're all children of refugees?
Yeah, so as you know, when they're in the camp, people they have different stories, they may be different backgrounds, but they have one identity, refugees.
Yeah.
And
so no matter what language they speak, they communicate through art, right? Just like
they communicate. They communicate through art.
Yeah,
something like that, because I think that's what I can say, because something which is very profound, and sometimes explaining it can take a lot of time. But we're trying to speak maybe briefly, because of maybe we are running out of time, as you mentioned. So it's just like that. But we're trying to contribute to the mental health in the community, and also art and also art that you can have that access to express yourself. Yeah, something like that, because I don't know how I can define it, but it's something very big.
For how long are you doing this already? For how long are you doing this already?
Yeah,
I'm not sure I fully understand. Is Just Paint part of Olama Humanity? Or are they they are two different projects, right?
So it's like Just Paint is the project which is under Olame Humanity. And actually for now, it's now Last Change. It's not again Olame Humanity, it's now Last Change, which Last Change is a non-profit organization. It's a non-profit organization. We do different activities, and then all the activities that concerns arts for mental health, they are under Just Paint.
And I think you also partnered with the African Climate Alliance, right? Which I think is very interesting that you and whoever is within, Just Paint and Olame Humanity, to connect actually displacement with climate, which is obviously very connected, and many are not aware of that. Would you like to talk a little bit about that? How children, or maybe also your work, connect to this, and what the concept is like, and if you to touch upon global issues, not only issues that are experienced in personal life, on a personal level.
So I think it's now 2 years now. We
Mm-hmm.
collaborated with African Climate Alliance, which is based in Cape Town, South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, we collaborated in the way of raising awareness about the climate change, because at that time I think we've been affected with a lot of crises. And then that was an occasion for us to connect and also to put something to life in the camp, where
Mm-hmm.
we engaged with women and children, because we believe children sometimes they also feel what adults feels, but it's really hard for them to express. But when they feel something, they run directly to parent, telling things like, I'm feeling like this, I'm feeling like this. But also for us putting the children together, expressing maybe what they're feeling about the climate change. It was another something that expanded their understanding, and which was really challenging actually for them to paint their imagination, what they think about climate change. It was really challenging. And at that time, we have been trying to tell them, like, observe your community or your environment. Like, how are you seeing your environment and what are you feeling? Is it aware? Maybe is it the real this the community really you really want to live in? Are you aware of the changes in the community? Are you aware of seeing these empty spaces? Are you aware of seeing all this dust? Something like that. And then that gives them another aspect, maybe of seeing things in another angle, something like that. So, and I think the result came out, which was really nice. They created beautiful pieces,
Mm-hmm.
signing the
Thing that
climate
stood
change.
out to you?
Yeah, and also on my side, I as an artist and also the human rights advocate. So that subject expanded my understanding as well,
Mm.
because I believe where there is nature, there is humans. And
I love
then,
that. And
yeah,
that brings me actually also back to you again, beyond your work as an activist, but unfortunately we have to finish this soon. You are beyond grassroots. So you already have, contemporary exhibitions are represented already in galleries. And how does it actually feel to, I mean, it's you on canvas. How do you feel about these, be you on canvas and sharing your story with public, in a public space? That must be, that's probably also, isn't there's a certain vulnerability to this. I don't know how you feel about that. And how do you feel if someone, purchases your work? How do you feel? Maybe you can just very briefly, and then unfortunately we have to go towards the end and finish here. But perhaps you can talk a little bit about this, because I don't think it's easy for many of us to open up to the entire world.
okay, I can say it's a blessing. And also, it's something like a call, because when you create something that comes from your soul, you
Mm-hmm.
always like to share it with the audience, people to see, and also maybe for them also to be connected and paint something. Because I know, like, the soul is bigger than
Yeah,
me, and then so it doesn't allow my ego to take the big part. And
yeah.
then I've experienced national on the national level, international level, and then I've been getting a positive remarks on the work, and also that has given me another perspective of seeing the way I can create, and also to know my audience better, and also to know there are people outside are passing through what I'm passing through, and also some people, though they're now on a on a good position right now, but they still hold the story. Some, as you know, you're having this system of migration. It's there, and then when you leave home, you go somewhere, you don't forget your home. But
Yeah.
there's an African proverb that says you leave home to build home. And then for me now, painting and then exhibiting, I'm reminding people where they came from.
Yeah, I love that. And unfortunately, we have to close here now. I mean, there's so many. I would love to touch upon so much more. But for anyone listening now and who wants to support your art and your activism, what is the best way of getting in touch with you, taking action for our listeners? Is there any way they can, how can we help?
The best way to support is to actually to be following my work on the pages, and also like buying my artworks, because when you buy a piece from me, you're not only investing in me, but also investing in generations and the people we are saving in the community. Because like a 10% goes into the community of the people we save.
So you
Yeah,
have a
because
website to share, or so where can people buy? Can you share a website? Can you share an email? Can you share your Instagram account?
yes, I think the works are available on Instagram,
Mhm.
like Instagram, all the media, and also through if people are interested, they can send me an email, and also I share with them the catalog containing all the details of the work, something like that. And as that's really hard for them, just through Instagram or any platform, we can get to connect, and they invest also in the future generation.
Aksanti, thank you so much for being here with us and for sharing our journey and your vision. And we really appreciate you. And thanks. And I hope we can welcome you again. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you
What
have
an honor to have met Aksanti, and we hope you have enjoyed our show. If you have any questions or comments, please send us a message at malcolmpresents@gmail.com. And remember, you can find us at malcolmpresents.com and on YouTube, and Celebrating Everyday People on Facebook and Buzzsprout. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.